It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So let me tell you a story, my friends. You're watching The Sam Lesante Show, first of all. I want to tell you a story. This is a true story. I'm in my office when we were on 109 West Broad Street, and I'm doing some work, and my secretary knocks on the door and says, there's someone out there. There's a young girl holding a baby, and she says, you're responsible for that baby. Now, of course, I wonder what's going on here, you know. So I leave the office and I go into our reception room, and there's a young girl. She's probably about maybe 16, 17 years old. She's holding this beautiful baby. Maybe the baby's 6 months, 3 to 6 months. And she looked at me and she said, Mr. Lesante, you're responsible for this baby. And I said, well, could you tell me why? She says, well, I was scheduled to have an abortion. And I watched your show on pro-life, on protecting the unborn babies, and what it meant to have your baby. And she said, would you hold a baby? And I said, it was beautiful baby, beautiful blue eyes. And she says, just think, Mr. Lesante, these are her words, my friends. She said, I was going to kill this baby. I was going to kill this baby. Thanks to your show and me learning about pro-life and what it means to deliver an unborn child, look what I have. And now today, it fits into our story today. We're at the Shines Women's Center, West Hazleton. We'll be talking to Valerie White, who is the director. And Valerie, that's a very interesting, touching story, okay? I can't tell you how I felt that day, because, and saying, you know, I'm always saying is that when we do shows, we try to educate people. It's not like, you're bad, you did this. It's none of that stuff, okay? What people need when they're in trouble, they need your help, not your hell, okay? So the Women's Pregnancy Center does a lot of things and helps a lot of people. Tell me about, I love your mission statement, to empower those facing unplanned pregnancy to choose life and to share the hope of Jesus Christ, okay? So when you're talking sometimes religion, people get nervous. I don't know why. I have no idea. You know, they'll tell you dirty stories. They'll tell you this. But when you talk about, you know, religion, people go crazy. I have no idea. You know, it's sad. But tell me about this center.
Well, thank you for having me this morning. And, you know, it's a wonderful thing at the center. So girls can come in that are facing unplanned pregnancies, and we will meet with them and encourage them and, you know, remind them that they are strong and that they can parent. You know, sometimes they're in bad circumstances or bad relationship, but regardless, we tell them that a baby is a gift from God. And you know, we don't push religion, but we do let them know that they're loved, and they're loved by Jesus Christ, and that they're valuable, and so is their baby.
I think that is something that these people who promote the pro-choice movement don't understand, or maybe they do, is that it's a gift from God, and it's God's creation. Okay?
Absolutely.
And so when women say, you know, this is my body, I'll do what you want, I'll do what I want with it. Well, yes, but you know, the point is that that's God's creation. I don't know how, Valerie, anyone who could get up in the morning, and I've said this many times, how anyone who could get up in the morning knowing that they're going to kill unborn babies, okay, in the Planned Parenthood offices or whatever. It's just so very sad. But here, talk me through, it's unwanted pregnancies, and sometimes there's a lot of circumstances when a girl gets pregnant. You have no idea. They could be troubled at home, they could be troubled, they could be on drugs or whatever. So now they find out they're pregnant. What do they do?
So if they can either call the center, or they might find us online, which a lot of them do. On our website, they can put in their information, and that will send us an email. And so we'll call and we'll text them. And when we get a hold of them, you know, we ask, well, what's going on? What are the circumstances? And many times they'll talk about it. You know, a lot of times they just need someone to listen to them. Of course, we encourage them to come in. Now, if they would come in, we would do a pregnancy test here at the center, and it's a high-quality urine pregnancy test, and that's done by our nurse on our medical staff. And so if that's negative, you know, we would talk to them about healthy relationships, because there's a lot going on there in their lives. And if it's positive, then we would encourage life. And we do that through, you know, building relationships with them. And, you know, a lot of times, like I said, it's just listening to them. Many times they don't have anyone who cares or they can just talk to, because they do come in with very hard circumstances in their life. Yes. It's not easy. But many times what makes a difference between life and death for a woman with an unplanned pregnancy is someone that cares about her, someone that's willing to listen to her and just let her talk. And, you know, we do, obviously it is their choice, but we do encourage them for life. And we have also material goods here. So we're not just saying, hey, have the baby and good luck. You know, no, we want them to come back every week. And they can earn what we call baby bucks and go to our baby boutique. And, you know, we have very practical items for them, such as diapers and wipes and clothing, breast pumps, you know, pack and plays, many things to help them. We also want to help them emotionally, just walk them through what, you know, could be a hard time in their life.
So when you have a person like that, first of all, I give anyone a lot of courage, you know, to call, okay, knowing that instead of just running to an abortionist and saying, we got to get rid of this baby, particularly if the male doesn't care, you know, they just use the girl, okay, which is so sad. This girl, female, is troubled. She doesn't know where to turn. Sometimes they're really afraid to tell their parents or their guardians, yeah. So they're put in difficult situations. How do you comfort that person? So there's the very first step always, Valerie, of saying, do I call? What's going to happen when I get there? You know, I'm troubled, I'm scared. You know, how do you comfort them?
Yeah. You know, it makes me think of a young couple that did come in. He was in high school and she was a little bit older. They came into the center and they were looking for an abortion. And
they were looking for an abortion?
Yes, they were. Oh. Yes. Many people will call that, maybe assume that we are handing out the abortion pill or perform abortions. And of course, we are very clear that we don't do that. But they may come in anyway, and this couple did. And I met with them, and they each lived with their mom and dad. And they had not told anyone. They had not told either one of the parents. In fact, I don't know that they told anyone at all except for us. And so I was able to just talk and ask, you know, what the situation was. And of course, she had goals. She wanted to go to college, and so did he when he graduated high school. And so they just felt like it was a bad time and they wouldn't be able to fulfill their goals. But I, you know, through talking with them and saying, hey, you know, you can have a baby and still go to college. Many people have done it. You can have the baby and still pursue your dreams. And so I think that that young people just don't think about that. They just assume I can't do it. But you know, God has given us strength, and we can do that. And so just by encouraging them, I also talk to them about adoption, which is another beautiful option. And adoption is giving your baby a chance for life. You know, giving your baby a chance to grow up and go to school and fall in love someday and get married and have their own family. And that's a beautiful option. And we do work with an adoption company and just, you know, educate people about the option of adoption.
So the follow-up then, when a person comes in and you're giving them the advice, and let's assume they go through the various tests, okay, as you said. Well, now you brought something up. You know, sometimes the girl comes by herself. Okay.
Many times, yes.
Okay, and she doesn't have support. Mm-hmm. She's by herself. She's lonely. She's troubled. She's scared. All right. She had no help from her boyfriend or whomever. And now this poor girl is completely baffled. She comes here, and you go through the process of educating her. She decides that, okay, I'm going to keep the baby. What happens then after that? Do they come in weekly? Do they come in? Do you keep in touch with them? How do you keep that moral support going for them so they don't fall? And do you advise that young person who's 16 years old or 15 years old, saying, well, you really should tell your parents or your guardian, whomever, okay? What happens there?
Right. That's such a good question, because a lot of times they'll come in and maybe they were looking for an abortion, but maybe they've changed their mind. And you asked some things that we would say to them. One of the things that I love to say to young people is, if you did go through with their pregnancy, would you want a boy or a girl? And almost everyone will say a boy or a girl. Almost everyone will say, oh, I really wanted a girl. I've always wanted a girl. Or, oh, gee, I really want a boy. And from that point on, then we refer to the baby as your son or your daughter. And when you personalize it like that, it makes a huge difference.
My God, yes.
Huge difference.
Yes.
We don't call them an embryo. We don't call them a fetus. No, they're a baby.
Or it.
Or an it, right.
Yeah.
And another thing that I love to say to young people is, did you know that at conception, when the egg met the sperm, that everything that makes you who you are is there at that moment? How tall you're going to be, what your hair color is going to be, your eye color, your skin tone, your personality, whether you're going to be bold and more aggressive, or whether you're going to be a little shy and quiet. It's all there at the moment of conception. All that DNA is in place. And then the body forms around that. And they don't think about things like that. They may not know things like that. But it makes a huge difference.
Major difference. Folks, I'm talking to Valerie White, who is the director of Shine Women's Center. The phone number is on the screen. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but I'm encouraging a lot of people, as I told you the story about this young girl who was ready to kill. She used the word kill her son. You wonder, don't you, sometimes, my friends, how is it possible for a person who has faith, a person who believes in God, a person who is caring, could walk in a picket line saying pro-choice, it's your body, and could care less how many babies are slaughtered or killed? It's interesting, isn't it? When COVID happened, you saw every day thousands of lives, etc., and everyone went crazy, and rightly so. And they have counts of how many people died of COVID. God forbid they should put the counts of how many abortions there are and how many people are killed by the same people who voted for the COVID situation and the mandates, are some of the people who want to continue on killing unborn babies. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'll take a break right now. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, ssptv.com. You get to watch all of our shows, all of the original programming, my friends, 24/7 on Channel 13 and 513 on the Greater Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision, and Comcast, 190 in the Greater Pottsville area. We've been there over 20-some years, from 7 to 11 p.m. And, of course, Wilkes-Barre, Mountaintop, Kingston area on Service Electric Cable Communications, Channel 92, from 7 to 11 p.m., and, of course, our YouTube channel. We're here today at the Women's Pregnancy Center, Shine's Women's Center, and I'm talking to Valerie White, who is the director of the Shine's Women's Center, and we're educating, okay? And people, as I said, when you're in trouble, I remember a person who, was upset, and I told that person that they were going to happen, et cetera, and I'm going this, and I'm yelling, and I'm so mad, and he just looked at me and he said, "Sammy, right now, I don't need your hell, I need your help." Okay.
Such a good saying.
Yeah, and I looked at and I said, "Wow. Isn't that the truth?" So these people don't need, well, you should have never done that, and this, and my God, it's. Listen, life is life. Things happen in life that we may like or may not like. But you have an interesting story to tell us. What is it?
I do. We had a young lady come in one time, and she told us the story later, but she said, you know, she had found out she was pregnant, and she was in a bad relationship, wasn't planning on continuing a relationship with this man. Found out she was pregnant. She said, I didn't want to be pregnant. And immediately, she said, I called an abortion clinic and scheduled an abortion for 2 weeks later. She said, but then I talked to my family. You know, a little support goes a long ways. She said, I talked to my family. She had a brother and and 2 sisters, and they said, you know, don't have the abortion. Go, you know, continue with the pregnancy. We will help you. And so she made the choice to continue with the pregnancy. And then she started coming in here, but she came in and I worked with her, and every week she would say, I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant. And I would encourage her to read, you know, we have some books for our moms and our children. And I said, you know, take these books and read to your unborn child and start bonding with them. She came back the next week and I said, did you read the book? No, I don't want to read. That seems awkward. And I'm not bonding with the baby at all. Now, the interesting thing about this is, Sam, that someone can say they won't have an abortion, but in Pennsylvania, you can have an abortion until 6 months pregnant. And so at any time, at any point in this pregnancy, she very easily could have changed her mind and gone to the abortion clinic. And of course in New York, which many people go to New York, it's right up until birth. And so and girls will change their mind quite often. And so she had the chance to change her mind. But every week I met with her and encouraged her and gave her emotional support. We always ask people if we can pray with them because we're a Christian organization. And we prayed with her even though she doesn't have any beliefs. But we asked and she said yes. And so every week, though, she said, I don't want to be pregnant. I'm not bonding with this baby. In fact, so much so that she even felt like the baby was an intruder within. That's how hard this pregnancy was for her. But then the time came for the baby to be born. They did a C-section, and she said to me, as soon as they placed my baby in my arms, she said, I fell completely in love with her. She said, she's the light of my life. She's the joy, in her heart. And she's actually absolutely in love with her daughter. Her daughter's now over a year old, and they just came in the other day. And she's just absolutely beautiful with black curly hair and big dark eyes. She's precious, and her mom is so proud of her, and she's the joy of her mom's life.
So this lady, a young girl, whomever, went through a storm. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a storm, you look at, say, oh my God, will I ever see sunshine?
Yeah, right.
Okay? And so, and that's where you have to place yourself in a situation where people are going through storms in their lives, okay? And there has to be someone who at least gives them some ray of some sunshine and hope. And that's what you're doing here at the Shine Women's Center.
Absolutely.
Is you're giving these people some ray of hope, mm-hmm. knowing it. And it's difficult. It's like someone who's sick, someone who's taking care of somebody, caretakers. They just shake their heads and say, when is this going to end? Is there a God? You question all those things. It's a challenge, isn't it, though, Valerie?
It is a challenge, and I always tell girls who are facing unplanned pregnancies that don't know what they want to do, I said, it's not easy. It's not easy.
That's terrible.
But I would never say parenting is easy. I have 3 kids of my own. Parenting's not easy. But it's the best decision you'll ever make.
Now, my friend, she's holding something here, okay? I want to just let you know how sick society is today, how sick some of the people who think it's okay to abort. She said something that just gave me a pain in my stomach in New York. You can abort up until birth. Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? It's just actually, it's sinful. It's sinful. Show our audience just exactly when, okay.
I want to show you our little babies. Sure. This one is 9 weeks from the last menstrual period. If you can see, this is a fully formed baby.
Yes.
Does that look like a blob of tissue to you, Sam?
Yeah. Well, that's what they tell the young girls. A blob of tissue, it doesn't have, the wacko abortionist, okay?
So that's not a blob of tissue, is it?
No.
And that's little baby. Let me tell you a little bit about this little one. Her facial features are visible, including her mouth and tongue. and her eyelids have begun to form. Her major muscle system is already developed. And 100,000 new brain cells are being formed every minute, every minute. Her little heart is beating 140 to 150 beats a minute. Now, her heart has been beating since she was 21 days old. 21 days. That's when your heart starts beating. So that's pretty amazing.
And you also said something that when conception is made, okay, and that's where, you know, the morning after pill, you know, it's incredible, you know. How many pro-life shows I had. I say pro-life, okay, and we're saving on. I just continue to, in the years of my life, I continue to wonder how is it possible for anyone who is in public office, how is it possible for anyone to say it's okay if you want to kill these unborn babies? I have such a difficult time with that, Valerie, you know, and, and it's not pointing fingers, but it just troubles me as to how you could say, go ahead. What you should be saying is, let's find ways to help these people like you're doing here. Let's put legislation in saying, if you are pregnant, here's what we could do to help you. Not run to an abortionist who doesn't care about that unborn baby, who goes home maybe and plays with their own kids or see their grand, but yet they want to deprive that person who's having a baby and abort that person, suck the brains out, put whatever they can in to destroy a human being. It bewilders me.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Sam, we've worked with enough people to know that abortion doesn't just harm the baby. It causes terrible harm to the mother.
Good point. Yes.
And the father.
Yes.
And the extended family, grandma and grandpa.
Yes.
The siblings. What about the siblings who've lost a brother or sister to abortion? Yeah. It harms so much more.
And they live with it forever.
Absolutely.
And you see, the pro-choice people don't want you to hear that. The Planned Parenthood people, in my opinion, don't want you to hear that. The troubles, the psychological problems, etc., knowing that they got rid of their son or their daughter, like you said. When we come back, I want you to talk about the center, what you have here, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. I'm on location here at the Shine Women's Center in West Hazleton, doing a lot of great things for those people who are nervous about when they're pregnant. Now, I'm here with Valerie White, who is the director. Give me a tour, or give our audience a tour of what you have here.
Sure, sure. You know, when a girl first comes in and we want to meet with her, we have two nice counseling rooms. They're just intimate. They're small enough to just get to know one another and in a safe place. And so we can start to talk and hear their story, and that's a good thing. Then when they watch parenting classes and they earn baby bucks, then we have a beautiful baby boutique, and it is filled with diapers and wipes, clothing from birth to size 2T. We also have handmade blankets and hats for the babies made by the ladies of our community. What a wonderful blessing. We also have, you know, sometimes pack and plays or breast pumps, you know, and all of it's donated by our community. So it's a wonderful blessing, and it's a little bit different every day, but it offers support for the girls. And then also in our baby boutique, we have a mom's section. And so the girls, every time they come in, they can get a couple little items for them. Because, you know, everybody likes to be pampered a little bit. But our most exciting thing here at the center is our new ultrasound machine. Now, this ultrasound machine, the funds were raised by the Knights of Columbus and donated by our community, and we're so grateful for those wonderful men in the Knights, really a great organization. And we're grateful for our community for all the support that they've given the center. And so our ultrasound machine was purchased and came into the center at the end of October last year. And at that point, we hired a nurse. We also have hired a bilingual receptionist, which has really helped us reach our community. And then we also have a client services director and myself. And so we have done probably about 25 ultrasounds so far. They're a wonderful blessing to the young men and the young women that participate in those. And in our ultrasound machine, you can see that there is a very large TV screen where the girls can see their baby and just exactly what's going on with that.
Now, you also have folks, you could help these people out, okay? And she'll tell you, but you have fundraisers coming up. Let's talk about them very quickly.
We do. Our fundraiser that's just around the corner is our golf tournament. That is May 21st, Saturday, May 21st, at the beautiful Sugarloaf Golf Course in Sugarloaf. So yeah, definitely sign up for that before it fills up. It's really a wonderful event. We've been doing it annually now for, this is our 9th year. And that's a nice financial fundraiser for the center.
And what else do you have in fundraising?
We also do the baby bottles. And so maybe your church does the baby bottles. And if they don't, please contact us and we'll see if they would like to do that. And so on Mother's Day, we hand out baby bottles. And on Father's Day, we collect them. And people can put a donation of change or a check or cash in and that helps support the center.
My friends, I would encourage you to do this. You know, if you want to make a little donation, you know, maybe $10, $15, $25, make a check out. It's on the screen who you make it out to. Because I'm telling you, when it comes here, they're able to get materials to help these people. Remember, they're going through a storm. And every little help, a ray shine, sunshine you give them, it's important. So
it is.
So you know, it's sometimes you want to go and buy some things, and it's so nice for these people to bring in. Valerie, I really enjoyed this today because I am 100% solid pro-life. And I appreciate what you're doing up here. I wish you the best. If SSP TV or any of the Lesante family could help you, we're there to help you, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure. Folks, remember, it's something that, you know, remember, help those people out who are pregnant and they're troubled, they're concerned. I would hope and pray in my lifetime that legislation would decide to fund people who are pregnant and help them, letting them know that they can adopt instead of saying it's okay and give them money, fund money to kill unborn babies. What a world we're in. See you next time.